So let's go ahead and take a look at the differences between the Apple Pencil and the Logitech Crayon. These are two different stylus options that you have for a multitude of different iPads out there. Now, in this case, I do have the Apple Pencil 2, but I will go ahead and kind of bring in the Apple Pencil 1 in this, specific comparison as well to kind of demonstrate, I guess, some of the more similarities, because the difference between a Logitech Crayon as well as Apple Pencil 2, it's a pretty big difference if I'm being honest, but a Logitech Crayon and an Apple Pencil 1 is actually kind of more or less the same. So there's obviously there's annoyances between all the Apple Pencils and styluses out there, but I will say if you are considering an Apple Pencil 1, this may be more in line to a cheaper alternative, which is actually pretty cool. But an Apple Pencil 2, if you're wanting to go that direction, it's kind of hard to find another stylus. I mean, there are definitely other options, but that is a pretty good stylus that Apple has made, if I'm being honest. Now, the first thing is price tag. You can buy a Logitech Crayon right now for $69, even less than that probably all over the place. And that is a pretty competitive price tag. If I'm being honest, I haven't really seen, there's definitely a lot more styluses that are coming out now, but for a big manufacturer, big company to make a stylus like that, it's actually not that bad of a price at all. Now, with the Apple Pencil, if we want to consider the first generation one on Amazon right now, that is going for $94.99. So even just that one is a little bit more expensive than the Logitech Crayon, but also the Apple Pencil 2 is going for $121. So you can kind of see that Apple Pencil, both those Apple Pencils, are more expensive than the Logitech Crayon. Is it a big, massive deal? Not really. It's obviously noticeably more expensive, but you kind of pay for a better, stylus in a way, because it is manufactured directly by Apple, the same people who make the iPad. So you're paying more, but you're also getting more in a way as well. Now, the charging and connection methods are kind of interesting between all of them. So with the Apple Pencil, 1, that connects directly to the bottom of that Apple Pencil or the iPad. So you can go and, snatch off the top portion of this specific, Apple Pencil, plug it into the bottom of that specific, Apple Pencil, plug it into the bottom of that iPad and charge it that way. Very, very annoying thing. I've always hated it, and it's probably been one of the most annoying things probably I've ever seen. Now, with the Logitech Crayon, on the other hand, you do have another alternative. So you have the ability of actually charging this thing via the charging port at the very top. So that is actually a very cool thing. It comes with a little cover thing on top. I did actually remove mine, but essentially you have that type of capability. So the charging method between those two are massively different. But the Apple Pencil 2 is probably my favorite one out of all of these. And the reason for that is because it charges via the clicking mechanism to the top of that iPad. So you have the ability of literally just clicking that Apple Pencil to the top of that iPad, and it literally just connects like that. That is honestly one of my favorite things for sure. So if you're using any of them, it's definitely a really cool thing that you have that type of capability, just literally just connecting to the top, and that is it. You don't have to pair them or anything like that. And that is one thing that I really do like about that specific, Apple Pencil. Now, with the Logitech Crayon, it supports pretty much all the, iPads that support Apple Pencils, which is nice. So pretty much all the iPad Pros, all the iPad Airs for the most part, the iPad Minis, really any Apple Pencil, really any iPad can support something like the Logitech Crayon, which is actually pretty nice. With the Apple Pencil 1 and Apple Pencil 2, they have different iPads that are supported. So if the Apple Pencils, if an iPad supports the Apple Pencil 1, that iPad will not support the Apple Pencil 2. And vice versa, if it supports the Apple Pencil 2, it's not going to support the Apple Pencil 1. So that can be a little bit of a minor inconvenience for some people. So just make sure you're buying the correct Apple Pencil for whichever iPad you're planning on getting. Now, finally, some of the features between them. Like I said, if you're depending on what you're trying to do, you can pretty much get the same exact experience between both. Now, I would say on the Logitech Crayon side, you might have a little bit more, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it, but a little bit more drawing emphasis with that Logitech Crayon. And what I mean by that is because this thing I think is tailored more for artists, you have the ability of actually, you can still draw with this type of stylus. You can do a lot within this. You can navigate all throughout it too. You can also go ahead and pretty much tilt if you want to for actual, thinner lines. So you can tilt for thicker lines or thinner. You can kind of move from there. And it's kind of a nice touch, which is actually really cool. Like I said, it supports a ton of different iPads. The drawings and everything is pretty natural. It connects to the iPad instantaneously. And the battery life is pretty decent at 7.5 hours of active writing time on a full charge. Now, that is for the Logitech Crayon. Now for the Apple Pencil 1 and Apple Pencil 2, because these things, like I said, were manufactured directly by Apple, they have a little bit more emphasis on what they can do. So these things, there's no like pairing in a way, it's just connecting to the iPad and that's it. Once it's connected, you can pretty much take it out whenever you want to, draw on the iPad, there's no on-off buttons, it's just kind of automatically connected. On top of that, with the Apple Pencil 2, you have a little bit more customizability. You have the option of basically using the gesture on the side. It's not really a gesture, it's like a double tap button. And what you can do is you can double tap that button and have it do certain other things. And I think that's really cool if you want to switch between like an eraser and a drawing tool. You can do that just by tapping the side of that Apple Pencil without having to go through and, click it manually or anything like that. And you are able to customize it a little bit, which is nice. So that's kind of another advantage that you have with something like the Apple Pencil 2 for the most part. So overall, what I'll definitely tell you is between both of those, Apple Pencil and Logitech's, crayons, I don't know if there's one that's I'm like, yes, this is the no-brainer. I think the Apple Pencil 2 is the best option out of all of these, but I think the Logitech Crayon is a very solid, cheap option. If you need something right there that's a little bit cheaper, that's not a bad deal at all. So I think overall, you can't really go wrong with either of them, but I will probably tell you getting the Apple Pencil 2 would be the best one. If not, get the Apple Pencil 1. If not that, then get the Logitech Crayon. So that pretty much covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.